Quick note before the video begins. This is a follow-up to my previous video on A Mom for Christmas. They do not have to be watched in order, but many of the ideas touched upon in this video are also discussed in that work. Please check it out if you enjoy. Analyzing the modern state of mannequin and doll media is impossible without looking back on one of the earliest tales of the living statue. The story of Pygmalion appeared earliest in a Hellenistic work, Philistophanes' History of Cyprus. However, the most well-known version of the tale is collected in Ovid's poem, The Metamorphoses. Pygmalion was a renowned sculptor, known for his lifelike statue and his utter detest of women. A self-declared celibate, Pygmalion refused to consort with members of the opposite gender for reasons that vary based on the source. At the peak of his artistry, Pygmalion sculpted what he declared to be the perfect woman, a statue named Galatea, a name that means she who is white like milk. He became obsessively infatuated with his own creation, showering her with gifts, flowers, and adornments. However, he remained unfulfilled in his desirous longing. Pygmalion began pleading and praying to the goddess Aphrodite, begging for her to gift life upon his perfect ivory. The goddess was pleased with his many artful gifts and decided to hear him out. She looked upon the statue and was awestruck with its beauty. It was the perfect depiction of the most beautiful being in all existence, herself. Inspired by Pygmalion's artistry and her own vanity, Aphrodite breathed life into the ivory and Galatea came to life. Her ivory skin became flushed, supple, and full of life as Pygmalion embraced her for the first time. Their wedding was blessed by Aphrodite herself, and they went on to have a son named Paphos, and maybe a daughter named Metharme, depending on the source. Please excuse if I butchered these Greek names. The story of Pygmalion remained the primary living statue narrative, with the trope being thrown about, referenced, and adapted by many writers from Goethe, who renamed Galatea to a girl named Elise, to Shakespeare's statuesque Queen Hermione in The Winter's Tale. Jean-Jacques Rousseau adapted the tale in his 1762 opera Pygmalion, which brought new life to the classic story. Variants of the living doll exploded in the 19th century with stories like Pinocchio, another tale that would be retold and interpreted to this very day. The typical interpretation or analysis of the Pygmalion story is that it's a simple depiction of the masculine desire to rule over women, and the concept that he can create a superior and subordinate female figure. It correlates with the Christian creation story of Adam making Eve from a piece of himself. The woman can only exist if she is an extension of the man's being. The reinvention of the story in Pinocchio is one that displaces the male desire and turns it into a paternal desire for a child, something that is far more pure and a desire that is taken one step further in A Mom for Christmas, with Jessica's desire for a mother. The modern state of the Pygmalion trope has evolved into that of man who shapes an uncultured and uneducated woman into an image of what he thinks she should be. Popularized by George Bernard Shaw's 1912 play and given the musical treatment in 1956's My Fair Lady.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Even more current representations of the modern Pygmalion include the 1999 classic She's All That.
I'll pick the girl, and you got 6 weeks to turn her into the prom queen. Gentlemen, we have a winner. Hey! You call off the bet, you lose.
I don't lose. So, Lanny, listen. I was wondering if maybe you'd want to embarrass me horribly in front of all these people.
In the King of the Hill episode, Pygmalion, the tale of a wealthy pig supplier who tries to craft Luann into the woman of his dreams.
That's it. Luann, I have decided that your boyfriend is crazy. Now, do you want to break up with him, or should I?
Now just stop it. Stop telling me what to do. I am a proud, ignorant woman, and no one is going to change that.
Now, that is the stupidest thing I ever heard anyone say.
But we aren't here to discuss the fabulous Luann. We're here to look at the pivotal 80s classic, that revived the living statue trope and reverted the concept of Pygmalion from the modern reinvention of reshaping a living woman to the classic trope of breathing life into a living statue. And that movie is 1986's riotous comedy, Mannequin, as well as its many inspirations. Mannequin was inspired by two elements. The first, according to Roger Ebert, was when Michael Gottlieb, the director, got an idea for the movie 5 years prior while walking down Fifth Avenue and thought he saw a mannequin move in the window of Bergdorf Goodman. The second was when he connected said idea to the 1948 musical comedy One Touch of Venus. One Touch was originally a stage musical with book written by S.J. Perelman and Ogden Nash, with music composed by Pert Weil and lyrics by Nash. However, the film adaptation would omit these songs for something new, and noticeably lesser. The movie was supposed to star Mary Martin, who played the titular role of Venus on Broadway, but these plans were scrapped and the movie rights were sold off when Martin became pregnant. You guys might know Mary Martin from her role as Peter Pan in the musical Peter Pan. The VHS covers were everywhere when I was a kid. The role of Venus was instead portrayed by Ava Gardner, while Robert Walkt played her love interest, the bumbling Eddie. Dick Haymes is probably the most notable member of the cast as well as the best singer. He played the role of Joe, Eddie's roommate. The director was William Alfred Saiter, who was mostly known for his slapstick comedies, especially those starring the comedy duo Wheeler and Woolley. The movie is sadly nothing special. I originally intended to go more in depth on this film, but will instead provide you with a synopsis to save you from the boredom that I felt while watching. The bumbling Eddie works as a handyman around a deluxe department store owned by the rich Mr. Savory. One day he is summoned to repair the drapes in front of Savory's new investment, a classical statue of the goddess Venus. While repairing the drapes, Eddie kisses the statue and brings her to life. That's normal, right? Venus reveals that she's the actual goddess Venus.
Oh, look, I don't understand any of this. Who are you?
I am Venus, daughter of Jupiter, goddess of love.
Oh, I'm very glad to know you. My name is Hatch, Eddie Hatch, displayed...
And uses her powers to try to seduce Eddie while playing matchmaker for his roommate Joe, pairing him with Eddie's girlfriend Gloria, and Mr. Savory, pairing him with his secretary. There are a couple of cute scenes that mostly revolve around the charismatic Ava Gardner's portrayal of Venus. The other highlight is Dick Haymes' songs. There are only 3 unique songs and a single reprise in the movie, but whenever Dick starts singing, he steals every scene.
And tonight the sky is my sky to fly, darling, falling in love, falling in love with you.
It's a shame that he was cast as the best friend and not the lead. It causes a couple of extremely awkward scenes where they have to work in his plotline so that they can have a musical sequence in order to sort of capitalize on his powerful vocals. Otherwise, One Touch of Venus is lackluster. It's a musical with too few songs, a comedy with not enough laughs, and a romance with no spark between its leads. This is probably the most literal translation of Pygmalion to the screen, seeing that the statue is Venus, the Roman equivalent of Aphrodite. It's a shame that the original production fell through and we ended up with a subpar imitation of what sounds like to be a pretty solid but forgotten Broadway musical. Luckily, Mannequin, the movie it inspired, is much more entertaining. Guys, there are like cat hairs on my microphone. I would try to wipe them off, but it would probably sound really bad. Back to the conception of Mannequin. So between Gottlieb's experience at the department store window and his admiration for One Touch of Venus, Mannequin came to be. The movie was to target specific demographics in order to boost retail sales as well as get audience into the theaters. Hollywood market researcher Joseph Farrell served as a producer and helped to specifically design the movie for a female audience. He held a series of tests for leads and ended up deciding on Andrew McCarthy, who had some of the highest appeal scores for teenage girls and young women. the target audience. McCarthy was known at the time for his role in Pretty in Pink, and would go on to have small roles in various films before moving behind the camera for production and direction, mostly of television shows. The female lead was played by Kim Cattrall, who would go on to play the memorable Samantha in Sex and the City.
This is about the blowjob, isn't it?
According to Paul Wilstein for The Morning Call, she reportedly spent 6 weeks posing for a Santa Monica sculptor who captured her likeness to create 6 different mannequins for the film. Cattrall said that she did a lot of bodybuilding in order to be as streamlined as possible. She wanted to match the mannequins as closely as she could, and it really shows in her remarkable physique. Other notable cast members include Estelle Getty from The Golden Girls.
In my village in Sicily, we had a custom. If your mother-in-law died, you were forced to wear a hair shirt, eat dirt, and pound your head on a rock. Anything to keep you from laughing.
James Spader, and the remarkable Meshach Taylor. He's going to be pretty important, so remember his name for later in the video. The filming took about 3 weeks in total and was filmed in the department store John Wanamaker's in Philadelphia, now known as Macy's Center City. Most of the filming occurred at night, and Cattrall reported arriving at the store around 6 p.m. and leaving at 6 a.m. the next day. Overall, filming went smoothly for a movie that the studio didn't expect much from. So with pre-production out of the way, let's take a look at the campy, the wild Mannequin. Mannequin opens at Edfu, Egypt, a long time ago, where 32-year-old Kim Cattrall is hiding in a coffin because she doesn't want to get married. They make some jokes about women's rights and the times they live in, but it all feels really awkward coming from 2 white women who are supposed to be living in Egypt.
Mother, I don't want to settle down. I want to do things. I want to invent things. I want to try things that nobody's ever tried before. I want to fly.
Sure. And I want to smoke and tell your father to go to hell. Oh, Emmy. If I thought we women could anyway change anything, don't you think I'd encourage you? No. These are the times we live in.
Mother, there's got to be a better way. Please, gods, please help me find it.
Kim Cattrall wishes for a way out of the marriage and is seemingly teleported through time. Next, we get an amazing animated opening with a banger by Belinda Carlisle. The animation shows the various lives that Kim's character went through leading up to the main story. We get some establishing shots of Philadelphia, home of the rum ham.
Wait a minute! Where's the rum ham? Where's the rum?
Before we cut to Andrew McCarthy playing a character named Jonathan Switcher. He looks like a 17-year-old, but he is actually 24 at the time of filming. He's dancing around assembling his perfect mannequin woman while the song My Girl plays in the background. How fitting. He says he's a sculptor, just like Pygmalion, but a quick cut later and we can see the most he is sculpting is balloon animals. He gets totally roasted by a child.
The biscuit bread, my old man's paying for this party.
Giant balloon coming up. There you go, have fun. Now, what do you want?
Dad! Followed by a montage of all of his failed jobs.
What do you think? 101 thing. I'm fired. Pick up my paycheck. Get out. I'm serving. We're going.
We're introduced to Jonathan's girlfriend Roxy, the stuck-up business archetype who works for a big department store, Illustra. She's a bit uptight for our baby bachelor of a main character and leaves him in the rain to stare at his beautiful mannequin through the store window.
I wanted to take you home, but they wouldn't let me. You know, you are the first thing I've created in a really long time that made me feel like an artist.
The next day, we're introduced to the amazing Estelle Getty, who appears immediately hitting a guy in his family jewels.
Good morning, what a gentleman. They're putting up the sign.
We find out There's a job opening, and before you know it, Jonathan is swinging around a giant electric sign.
Young man, I'm sorry.
No, that's no problem.
If I can make it up to you in any way.
Yeah, I could use a job.
Estelle, appreciative that Jonathan saved her life, gives him a job at her department store, a luxurious multi-leveled behemoth of Art Deco architecture and filled to the brim with luxurious products. The store manager, Mr. Richards, a baby-faced James Spader, does not seem as excited about Jonathan's hiring and immediately puts him on trash duty. The movie cuts to Roxy's office where we're introduced to her extremely creepy co-worker with a vague European accent. He's just like a walking sexual harassment lawsuit.
I would like to make it my business. I would love to sink my teeth into your little bottom. What? Did anyone say something bad? Forgive me. English and me, it's new. My tongue, it slides.
Look, our relationship is strictly business. You got that?
Yes.
Jonathan is getting comfortable at his new position.
See anything you like, Switcher?
I was just looking for panties.
And his Kim Cattrall mannequin has relocated to the store for some unknown reason. We finally get the real main character, the fabulous queen, Hollywood Montrose.
Hollywood Montrose. Doesn't it just sing?
Played by the late Meshack Taylor, most well known for his role in Designing Women.
Albert left me that bitch. He said my thighs are too fat. My thighs look too fat to you.
Hollywood Montrose is a window dresser to the stars and is probably the most entertaining character in the entire movie. After seeing Jonathan hanging out with Hollywood, Paul Blart Mall Cop, whose actual name is Felix, but I'm just going to call him Paul Blart because he's like a bumbling buffoon, he immediately makes a pretty homophobic comment calling Jonathan a little Mary.
Oh, the little Mary has an assistant now, huh? So, you like your new assignment?
Could have been worse. Could have put me on with a bigoted jerk.
At least his dog Rambo is pretty cute.
I call him that because he likes to draw first blood.
That night, while setting up mannequins in the window and listening to Hollywood go on and on about his partner Albert
called me Cellulite City. Maybe he's right. Maybe I should have my hips lifted.
Jonathan's favorite mannequin comes to life.
What's the matter? Don't you like your new scarf?
Not especially. What a funny way to say hello.
What the hell's going on?
My name is Emma Hezare, but you can call me Emmy.
Jonathan thinks he's going crazy, but overall handles a talking mannequin pretty well. The two get up to some shenanigans in the store.
You still don't believe I'm real, do you?
I'm open for discussion.
And Emmy, the mannequin, decides to try on some different outfits. Jonathan's wild night causes him to miss his dinner with Roxy, which is pretty much the last nail in that coffin, and when he wakes up, he finds Emmy has turned back into a mannequin. Roxy confronts Jonathan in the morning, and then leaves with the sexual harassment guy. Really?
Armand, let's just get out of here.
Hey girl, you can do better than that. I know Jonathan is crazy and all, but at least he isn't harassing living women. All the while, Hollywood is staring at the window display, which was apparently assembled by Jonathan and Emmy late last night. There's some background about Richards wanting a job at Illustra, specifically the job of its current bigwig, BJ. Afterwards, the board holds a meeting to figure out what to do with Jonathan, who's pretty sure he's going to get fired. Hollywood shows up and is ready to slay.
Never you fear, your Hollywood is here. Rumor control has it that the board wants to fire your little behind. You just let me in there at those so-and-sos. I will straighten them out. Too sweet. How can they think of firing you?
Defend his newfound friend.
Oh, please don't tell anyone you saw me dressed like this. I have a reputation to uphold. If Jonathan is fired, Hollywood flies. Excuse me while I step out into the window ledge.
Hollywood! Come on!
Oh no, Hollywood, please don't jump out that window. Please don't go that far. You've only known this guy for less than 24 hours. Richard wants to fire Jonathan, but Estelle sees how popular the window display was, tells Richards to shove it, and promotes Jonathan. How long has Hollywood been working here, and the straight white guy who's already getting a promotion on day 2? This is some backwards 80s stuff. Richards tells Paul Blart to keep an eye on Jonathan, and he seems a little too eager to do that.
I'd be happy to strip search him.
Just watch him. Yes. You didn't happen to run into Michelangelo.
Michelangelo. Oh, yes. Oh, he wasn't very interested in me. He was involved with some guy named David.
The two have a fashion montage where they both try on outfits and show off Kim Cattrall's rock-hard abs. I told you guys she had been working out real hard for this movie, and it shows. Hollywood interrupts them at one point and just teases Jonathan about his infatuation with a doll in an encouraging way. And
maybe I can get G.I. Joe and we can double sometime.
He reveals the rules of the situation.
Didn't I tell you? You're the only one who can see me like that.
And it's just sort of left at that. If you're looking for any kind of explanation beyond that point, then you're going to be out of luck. This is a movie about a living mannequin in the 80s, so you're not going to get much. Paul Blart and Rambo often hear things through doors, but just see Jonathan carrying around mannequins otherwise, so it's not going to be very consistent. After finding out about Jonathan's success, Roxy tries to poach Jonathan for her store, but fails miserably.
Jonathan, you're not seriously turning me down.
Roxy, I'm not the same guy I used to be. I finally found a place where I belong. I'll see you around.
Jonathan also causes a horrible fire on his way out. Whoops.
Just a little.
Turns out, Sweet Rambo is afraid of mannequins now, and Paul Blart is developing an unhealthy obsession with Jonathan.
Come on, Rambo. Tonight we nail that little fart blossom.
Nail that little fart blossom? What? Roxy and sexual harassment European break into the store to try to spy on Jonathan and steal his ideas.
Can I show you something in your size?
Paul Blart and Roxy see Jonathan cavorting with a mannequin, and the European guy seems really into it.
Did he ever scream, "Don't stop, Woody"?
Oh, my camera.
This really upsets Paul Blart for some reason, and he starts assaulting John. That escalated pretty quickly.
I'm gonna knock you into the middle of next week.
Apparently, Kim Cattrall can help knock somebody out as long as she isn't looked at directly. What? The two start biking around and hang gliding throughout the store. Why not? The store in this section really feels like its own living character for a little while. It's sort of cool to see all this crazy Art Deco stuff and see how big department stores used to be. Paul Blart catches up with them pretty quickly, but Amy solves that pretty quickly. Richards and Estelle Getty find Paul Blart passed out the next morning, and she promptly fires both of them.
Oh, is that right? Well, Richards, when you take Felix to get his last paycheck, get your own as well.
See you later, suckers. There's a success montage. Jonathan becomes the vice president of Prince & Co. Is this like our third or fourth montage at this point? I think it's only been like 4 or 5 days in the span of the show, and I'm just losing track of everything at this point. BJ wants to use some of the photos that Roxy took in order to ruin Jonathan's image, but Roxy really just doesn't want to ruin his life because I guess they used to date, and she's still pretty sympathetic towards him. Next, we find Jonathan using the women's room. The ladies can hear a dummy through the door, but think he's probably just talking to himself. Everyone clearly knows about this, but nobody questions anything because he's just a successful white guy.
Tina, Money! He's talking to the dummy again.
Girls, please, let's not be catty. I simply will not tolerate eavesdropping unless I'm a part of it.
Hollywood walks in to see him making out with the mannequin and has one of the best lines in the movie.
You know I would never bother you when you're getting a piece of wood.
Hollywood tells John that he's afraid he's going to lose his job, but John reassures him that everything's going to be fine. The ladies outside make some casual 80s homophobic comments.
Who's crying? It's either our new vice president, the fairy, or the dummy.
These parts really haven't aged very well.
Jonathan, how about a picture? Mom will think I've switched.
Richards, BJ, and Paul Blart plot to steal the mannequin to blackmail Jonathan into working for them. Jonathan takes Emmy out of the store on a motorbike, knowing that if anyone looks at her, she'll instantly turn into a doll. Nothing's gonna go wrong with this, right? Roxy sees them and is just flabbergasted. The European guy makes another advance on Roxy, and this time she actually agrees? Ooh, girl, no.
Huh? By having a night of distasteful sex with someone that you care absolutely nothing about. And proudly, I would like to be that person.
Fine, let's just go to your place.
Really?
The mannequin flips the bird to their pursuers during this sort of chase scene. The pursuing car gets stuck in an alley, and the movie awkwardly cuts to the European who just can't get it up now.
I don't understand it. This never happened to Armand before, never.
He blames it on Roxy and says he also wants a mannequin.
You're so cold. You're so unfeeling. Where can I get a mannequin to?
Jonathan and Emmy make out on a pier before having sex in a camping tent back at the store. This movie has escalated pretty quickly. Richards and Blart break into the store to make some generalizations about mannequins.
This is the one! This is the one! You positive? Absolutely!
Ooh, wait a minute. This one kind of looks like her, too.
Then they just decide to steal a ton of them, because why not? Jonathan wakes up naked in the store by himself, and his mannequin is gone. Hollywood informs him that late-night burglary has occurred.
All the girl mannequins disappeared from the windows last night. Film at 11. Yes, my dear, your favorite. She is gone, too.
Hollywood drives them out to a Lustra in his fabulous pink Cadillac. Jonathan confronts the villains. Roxy runs off and he pursues. Paul Blart got a new dog sometime overnight and named him Terminator. Is this the climax of the movie? Everybody's just running now. There's like a sword fight. Somebody gets thrown through a glass case. It's just a lot of chaos. Roxy finds all the mannequins in the back and moves them to a giant shredder. Hollywood takes down some cops by hosing them. We love to see it, girl. Yeah, come through.
This is what being a man is all about, honey. Oh, yeah! Mine's bigger than yours is!
Roxy's attacked by trash as Jonathan rushes after the mannequin. Emmy comes to life just in time to get help before falling into some spinning blades. An employee just sort of stands off to the side and watches for a good minute before deciding to turn off the machine. Richard starts trying to commit hate crimes.
Shit.
Shoot him!
Everyone runs to the trash room to find Emmy, who is now alive for all to see. I guess saving her life and true love made her real. There's no explanation for this, guys. The inept employee thinks Roxy is a mannequin and starts sexually harassing her in the trash pile. She's terrible, but please just stop. She doesn't deserve all this. Estelle Getty tells everybody to just shut up. She recorded everything, provides videotapes to the police showing Richards and Paul Blart breaking into her store, and conveniently omits the stuff with Jonathan and his doll.
She's the dummy!
This poor man is having a breakdown.
No! She's the dummy! No! No! She's the...
Starship's iconic theme, Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now, plays as the movie cuts to the final scene of Jonathan and Emmy getting married in the shop window. Happily ever after? This movie's a mixed bag. It has charm and great performances in spades, but also has not aged especially well. There's a lot of homophobia, and it seems to fully embrace the base Pygmalion concept of a man creating a perfect woman because other women just can't compete.
When you were making me, didn't you feel a certain inspiration? Almost like your hands were being moved by a force not of this world. You made this body so that I could come to life.
The whole time travel thing is loosely attached, but his sort of depiction of her is what's the main focus. The treatment of Roxy is probably what irks me the most. She has potential to be a more nuanced character, but it just sort of comes across as someone who is horrible because she puts her job above her relationship. Her mistreatment is supposed to be the butt of many jokes, but none of them land because they all involve her being sexually harassed. The only woman with any kind of agency in the movie is Estelle Getty's character, but even then her entire point is to raise up a man. All that said, I still sort of enjoyed it. The 80s department store aesthetics, the fashion, the numerous montages, it's all just a really fun movie. However, there's one elephant in the room.
At least she'll never tell you that your hips are too fat.
Hollywood. He seems to be a parody of gay men during the 80s, a time when gay men, especially black gay men, were demonized and treated as less than human due to the AIDS crisis. However, Taylor seems to take this parody character and give him life. He adds humanity to Hollywood, and he feels like he's really delivering a joke rather than being the butt of it. Taylor was a heterosexual man playing a gay character, but he had a background in theater, and I'd like to believe he imbued Hollywood with these more humane characteristics. He's a loyal friend to Jonathan, and his relationship with Albert, while comical, seems pretty genuine. The movie constantly bounces back and forth in tone when it comes to these subjects, which makes the tone shifts even more jarring when they do happen. This paradoxical tone of the film, being both progressive and transgressive simultaneously, clearly comes from its state as a collaborative work. The writers and producers may have intended one message, but the performance by the actors leads you to another. It's something that can only be found in these types of collaborative pieces and makes them all the more fascinating. One especially interesting tidbit about Mannequin is that even though the film was released in Taiwan and not mainland China, the theme song, Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now, was covered by Cantopop star George Lamb and renamed Gan Ai Gan Zuo, which literally translate to Dare to Love and Dare to Do. The song hit the #1 spot on the Cantopop charts in May of 1987, the year after the release of Mannequin. This may seem like a really strange connection, but keep this in mind because we're actually going to return to discuss China's connections later in this video. Mannequin was critically sort of panned, but it actually made quite a bit at the box office. And seeing that it was a Hollywood success meant that the studio would want to repeat the Mannequin magic. The movie had a budget of $7.9 million and ended up breaking in about $42.7 million. The execs wanted to recreate this and make some more easy money, so they immediately greenlit a sequel. And what a sequel it is. Despite having a pretty decent cast, Mannequin 2, Mannequin on the Move, was a box office bomb that jumped around between 4 different screenwriters. Upon my first watch, I thought the movie was a straight-to-VHS affair, but that was not the case. This sequel had a $13 million budget and grossed a paltry $4 million during its time in theaters. Taylor reprises his role as Hollywood, but no one else in the cast returns. Instead, we have William Ragsdale as the main lead, Christy Swanson, yes, the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer, as the mannequin, Jessie.
Buffy, you're not like other girls.
Yes, I am.
And Terry Kisser as Count Spitzel, the villain. If these names sound strange to you, in contrast to the first movie, then have I got a surprise for you. Without further ado, let's look at Mannequin 2, or Mannequin on the Move. Once upon a time in Happencoeg. Wait, why are we in medieval times now? Mannequin on the Move opens by introducing the peasant girl Jessie, who's in love with the prince of this nondescript European country. Some bumbling knights who look like Monty Python rejects try to stop them, but are easily defeated and distracted. The queen seems to be from ye old Jersey.
Be still, my son. She's only after the royal jewels.
She sicks her sorcerer on Jessie. Hold up. Was that Michael Anderson from Twin Peaks fame?
Do you know who I am? I am the arm. And I sound like this.
Count Spetzel gives William a necklace to place around Jessie's neck, and surprise, it's cursed. Now she's trapped as a mannequin.
Simply brilliant. Frozen forever.
Ah, that little curse was nothing, my queenie. Nothing, no, nothing.
Is this any stranger than the first movie's setup? Well, no, but it's definitely trying to establish more, which isn't always better.
Yes, but you have cursed your kingdom for 1,000 years!
The kingdom is now cursed, which means it's going to reign for 1,000 years. Who knew this was the UK? The descendant of Spetzel shows up to claim the statue of the peasant girl, and we cut to Philadelphia a few days later, where we're introduced to what seems to be the reincarnation of the prince, a guy named Jason. He drives a Jeep and just got a job at the department store. Yeah, you know the one. This movie didn't seem to have a budget for a cool animated opening, so instead, we get a driving montage. Oh wow, this movie was written by 4 different people. That's always a great sign. We're introduced to Mr. James and his flunkies, played by Stuart Pankin of Disney Channel fame. You'll probably have seen him in like Zack and Cody and Xenon, Girl of the Future. He's very upset by dust.
Dust.
Pardon me?
I smell dust. Dust your counter.
Jason is put under the charge of Hollywood.
Do you remember Miss Diana Ross in the movie Mahogany?
Yeah.
Give me cheekbones, or give me death.
He is still everything. I don't know why he has a whole menagerie of dancers, but neither does the staff. We can just assume that he got some kind of middle management promotion. You know, he's not going to be the vice president of the company like Jonathan was after like 3 days because he was a white guy.
The wizard's not here. Go away, go away.
Hollywood seems to be doing pretty well for himself, though, all things considered. The enchanted peasant girl is coming into town to be shown at Price and Company, but word comes that the statue has been in an accident. You know what that means? To the Hollywood Mobile! Hollywood nearly causes an accident when he sees the statue is about to fall into the river. We're introduced to 3 bumbling European stereotypes, and the peasant girl falls into the river as Jason swims down to save her. While underwater, he sees her come to life for a moment, but thinks it's just a trick of the light. Meanwhile, Hollywood is having an encounter with the Europeans.
She's the enchanted peasant girl.
Let me guess. You must be the boys from Hauptmann Koenig. My, haven't we been hoarding the steroids?
Did you recover the rest of the sacred wardrobe?
I thought Donald did. I thought you did.
No! They're so dumb. I just love that in a man.
He and Jason head back to the store with the statue, leaving the Europeans to hitchhike in a very unique way.
this. I don't believe it. Whoa. Wow. Hey. All right, let's give him a ride. Baby, yeah. Get in.
Hi, Sergeant McBurk.
Okay, come on.
Jason tries making out with the statue to bring her to life, but it just takes removing the necklace. Things have come so far since One Touch of Venus.
Whoa!
My prince.
Stay back.
Why are you running?
Jessie mistakes Jason for her long-dead prince, while Jason thinks he's just going insane. No time has passed at all for Jessie, and Jason just has to catch her up on the modern times. The Europeans catch up and look like they got their new outfits at some fabulous bodybuilder convention. Jason takes Jessica out to eat, and she hangs out the top of his Jeep. She asks him if they can get married while eating cheesesteaks, and he deflects by talking to a horse.
I'm just gonna tell you, there is someone I've been seeing. I'd like to introduce you to her if it's okay. Harriet, this is Jessie.
Hollywood holds a cheer session to welcome Count Spretzel, who shows up in what looks like an old Nazi plane and distracts everyone with his extremely long mole hair.
What a pleasure it is to have you here. Wart, here. Listen, have you ever thought about putting a few African trading beads a la Bo Derek on that? It would be absolutely smashing.
At least he has fine accommodations.
Are my accommodations ready?
Oh yeah, the very best in the city. Take us to the YMCA and step on it.
Spetzel reveals his plan to get the statue and jewels out of the country so he can escape with all the money. What money? I don't know. I guess the necklace is worth something? Jessie seems to be handling modern times pretty well.
Close your eyes. That's good. Turn around. Okay, smile. Okay, open your eyes.
Get me out of the bus!
It's okay. She's fine. She's a little. It's this cheesesteak.
So of course she wants to go clubbing. Nothing overstimulating about that.
It's diet soda. No calories, no sugar, no caffeine.
Oh, we had something like that back home called water.
Their dancing looks more like flailing, so Jessie sets the record straight and shows everyone how to properly dance. The soundtrack absolutely slaps, but I can't really use any of it without getting copyright stricken. But trust me, it's got some good bangers in here.
I've reached into the flame of love. I couldn't hold it and it disappeared.
Afterwards, we cut back to Jason's home and see his mom helping his new boss make a dating video the night after he just started his job. Wait, they're really cramming in as many subplots as they can. Jason lets Jessie sleep in his bed and makes breakfast the next morning. I don't think that's how you make eggs or juice. Jessie puts the necklace back on as she's getting dressed and turns into the statue. Jason tries to perform CPR and his mom walks in on him with the dummy.
Hello? Oh, no. Breakfast! Come on! Eat! Come on, honey.
Jason, what are you doing? This is the girl you brought home last night?
It's not what you're thinking.
Not knowing what to do, he then proceeds to take her around town, because why not? The Count shows up to check on the exhibit the next day.
Well, I'm not superstitious, but are you sure you're supposed to be out in the daylight? Get back.
And Jason gets in trouble as he wheels in his statue. Hollywood borrows the fierce necklace and brings Jessie back to life.
You little tart, what have you done to my protege? I tell you what, you let me borrow this fierce necklace and all is forgiven. Oh me, oh my, I'm in love with you, baby.
He puts it on and becomes a statue himself. Meanwhile, the Europeans are showing off their taste in fine hats.
Ah, that's nice. That goes good with your eyes. Huh? Yeah.
Hello. Oh, you look very cute. Come here, come here. Come on. Oh, come here, come here.
We are something, huh?
Oh, you are really, really something. Yes. Oh, yeah, really something. Huh? I want you to take that, both hands, and put it right over your face. That's it. You idiots!
The Europeans find the statue of Hollywood and assault him. This is gay-on-gay violence and cannot be tolerated. Jessie buys a bunch of furniture for Jason with his credit card because she wants to get him a gift or something. I don't know her exact rationale. Jason tells Hollywood everything, and he believes him since he was in the last movie.
She came to life. She was alive. I mean, this whole curse thing is true.
This has happened before. I believe you.
You do?
Yes, and we better hurry up and find her because those Goonie boys are looking for her too. Come on!
The Europeans spot Jessie and chase her around the store. Her response is to get a makeover montage. No one's gonna recognize her with a different hairstyle.
Can I help you?
Could you make me look different?
Honey, we can change your whole life.
Once you did it for pity, and you did it for pride. Oh, you've done it for passion, or some voice inside. Yes, you do it for virtue, or to prove you're tired. But if you're gonna do it for love. Do it for love.
Count Spretzel decides to murder Jason and gets a hold of a crossbow.
You mess with Count Spretzel. I shoot you not through the mouth, not through the eye, but through the heart.
Anything?
No, not a trace.
I thought Cupid aimed for the heart.
What the?
Hit the deck!
Do they just carry weapons at Price and Company now? Jessie gets a little cart to save Jason and run people down in the store. She drives into the streets and goes all the way back to Jason's house where his new furniture has arrived. Jessie has a full outfit and hairstyle change on her way home, by the way.
Look, your mother gave me all these people's lives.
Jason gets arrested for causing chaos in the store and stealing the statue. The Count just sort of pushes his way in and is revealed to be the sorcerer still alive after 1,000 years.
Whoa.
Is everything all right?
Everything is perfect.
Sorcerer.
Oh, my little sweetie pie, you have to come with me because, well, we must fulfill our destiny.
I love Jason. You can't make me go with you.
Here now, my lovely.
Let her go. Look, she's real, I swear.
Oh my God. He's in love with a dummy.
Oh, wait a minute, honey. I was gonna do that.
And puts Jessie back into statue form with the necklace. Everyone thinks Jason is in love with the dummy, and Jason finally realizes the necklace is the cause of the curse.
I never had this problem at Kmart. Too much red meat.
And it's off to Bermuda.
Shut up!
There's a musical montage of all their happy times as Jason sits in jail. Hollywood shows up in uniform to break Jason out as his very convincing alter ego, Butch Montrose.
Body, 10. Touch, 10. Energy, 10. 10 out of 10.
I'm here to pick up one of my men and take him downtown.
Who are you?
Staff Sergeant Montrose, sir. Butch Montrose.
Hey!
You didn't sign these.
I guess the police didn't bother to chase them down the street or anything. It's fine, right? They sneak Jason into the showcase as a cameraman, and Hollywood prepares for his big show.
The lights, the excitement. Show business, my life.
Time for Hollywood's big performance, which has some interesting dancing that turns into a fabulous hip-hop number. Hollywood does a spoken word number, and I'm not sure I can do this scene justice, so I'm just going to put it here. I promise I didn't edit any of this.
Once upon a time, a peasant girl was victim of a crime. Was frozen ever since she dared to love the handsome prince. Is that so wrong? But alas, 1,000 years had passed since that spell from hell had been cast.
Where is she?
Today, my friends, that spell will end. Ladies and gentlemen, Prince and Company is proud to present our beloved, enchanted peasant girl.
Yeah, the manic editing and UFO beaming down aren't a hallucination, they're actually in the movie. Jason shows up dressed like a pirate to save Jesse. Spetzel tries to stop everything by punching the manager and having Hollywood taken off stage. Jason and Spetzel have a sword fight, which isn't particularly exciting, but I guess it's something for the climax.
For love and honor, come on, Count, for money on Bermuda!
Off stage, Hollywood flips a few switches and ends the fight. As Jason removes the necklace, revealing Jesse is alive to all.
Jason.
Everything's gonna be okay. What? Come on, you gotta be kidding. That's not fair.
So I cheat. Sue me.
Spetzel pulls out a gun and starts just blasting the place up. The Europeans set up an excellent escape route for Spetzel.
I thought this would be more romantic.
No! More romantic? Get out of the way, you idiot!
Hollywood snaps the Europeans away. He just clicks his fingers.
Allow me.
Jason climbs onto the hot air balloon, and Jesse turns Spetzel into a statue by putting the necklace around his neck.
Goodbye, my little pest!
In 1,000 years, on a single day, only a true love may take the curse away.
I guess that's a fitting end for him. Oh, wait.
Whoa!
Oh no!
Catch him! No! No!
No! Oh, no!
It's okay. The Europeans know how to fix this.
Count! We've blown our trip to Bermuda! Wait! If we be putting him back together and finding him a true love, he will be coming back to life!
Yeah! Yeah!
Wait! Look out! Get
The two lovers fly off in the air balloon, and Starship's theme starts playing over the montage of the two living happily ever after. Mannequin on the Move is a bonkers mess. I've cut multiple side plots, like the one about Gail, the perfume salesperson, and this entry's bumbling security guard Paul Blart character, I didn't think I'd ever be wishing that I were watching the first Mannequin again, but I definitely felt that way while watching this. The director, Stuart Rawfill, said that he just wanted to add in more and more elements to make people laugh. This throw it all and see what sticks method can work sometimes, but I'm not sure if it exactly worked here. This shouldn't be surprising, since his most notable movie besides this was Ice Pirates.
And whatever you do, don't panic!
Hollywood still gets some great lines in, but even his character feels like a pale imitation of what it was in the first movie. It could be a so bad it's good camp classic, but the pacing and the overabundant subplots make it a bit of a slog to get through, even if there are some absurd and humorous scenes sprinkled throughout. The wildest part of our story sees us return to China. In the summer of 1992, the movie was aired in mainland China during the variety show Zhongda Variety, known for having humorous game show segments, including ones where contestants guessed foreign products. After the variety show, they would segue into fantastical, family-friendly movies. Countless young Chinese kids tuned in every Saturday to watch, and one weekend they were greeted with this seminal classic, Mannequin on the Move. From the familiar theme music to its juxtaposition of European fantasy and modern Chicago, these kids were hooked. The movie latched onto their minds and became a part of the cultural zeitgeist at the time. If you look at the American IMDb page for Mannequin on the Move, it has a paltry 4.4 rating. However, the Chinese equivalent, Douban, has the movie rated at 8.0, 30.2% of the ratings being a full 5 stars. I've translated a few of the comments and reviews, such as this one. When I was checking out a list of Cha Grand Theater, I unexpectedly found this movie that I watched when I was a child. I can't remember most of the plot, but I remember the ending very clearly. The wizard was broken into pieces and then spliced back together.
Whoa! Oh no!
There's another one where they say, "Nothing's gonna stop us now" sounds like it's so nice. The heroine this time is so beautiful. The male pig is not handsome. I'm assuming they mean male character, male lead, but he is so charming. I love this movie to death. Hollywood is so bright. But my favorite review has to be the one from Texas Cowboy. I watched this film on CCTV6 a long time ago, but I have never watched it from beginning to end. Today I watched the first film, Brilliant, and this one, Wooden Beauty, in succession. I'm assuming these were the titles given in China. I was really surprised by the ultra-low score on IMDb, although from today's perspective, this film feels like a typical old-fashioned route of a happy reunion of a prince and princess, plus comedy. It seems that the tastes of foreigners are indeed different from ours. Come to think of it, I haven't seen such a romantic movie for a long time, and what is certain is that this 1991 old film only belongs to that innocent era. The changes of the times and the progress of society have caused changes in people's appreciation levels and tastes. Only people who have lived in that era will have deep feelings about such a movie. This feeling comes from the heart and is difficult to express with words. At the time, this cliched film was full of novelty and fun. This feeling is like the novelty of going to the supermarket to buy things for the first time as a child and discovering that you can choose products at close range. The excitement of holding an empty bottle to get salt soda in the summer. The sitting in the middle of an old-fashioned long bus with an accordion-like banana chair. Fun on the spin. This film is remembered as representing some of the happiest times in our lives, and ultimately it's a feeling of nostalgia.
雙手臂，箍緊身邊的你，透過濕雪沙貼向你的腹肌，身邊多少指責都已一概不理，愛得真心，我倆應該問死，冷雨撲向我，點點紛飛，是你高溫波濤，由你勇氣。我太狂，笑我不羈，咁樣交出真情，也算我氣。狂暴又不需休息的吻，不需呼吸空氣，不需街邊歡縱於你。地雨中，身邊車輛飛過，街裏路人走過，交通燈催促過，剩下獨是我跟。
This movie clearly had an immense impact on the youth in China during the 90s and is fondly remembered by so many of them. There are multiple Chinese videos chronicling and reviewing Mannequin on the Move, or as it was known in China, the Wooden Beauty. While I may not have appreciated it, I still find it admirable that the movie was able to bring so much joy to others, even if they weren't the intended audience. The story itself is more magical than the movie that made it, and just goes to show how art, even the art that we consider lowbrow or trashy, can have a great meaning to the most unlikely of individuals. The cover of Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now is still widely celebrated in China, and both films have become easily accessible as nostalgic classics. Mannequin's legacy in China may not live beyond this generation. However, I'm sure it will continue to be a pivotal and fond memory of 90s kids all across China. The Mannequin movies end up being as fascinating as the Greek myth that inspired them. The important factor to take is that both tales, omitting some of the nonsense that is Mannequin on the Move's curse setup, seems to be that these women are created by men, something that should not be within their realm of control. Creation of human life is a core aspect of women, and by stripping them of this power, man seems to be trying to claim one of the most powerful signifiers of womanhood. Raicho Hiratsuka stated that, in the beginning, woman was the sun, and she was the creator who propagated life. And this attempt to create women, or shape them into man's preferred image, is a defilement of nature itself. The Pygmalion myth and the stories so directly influenced by it can never surpass the misogyny that brought them to life, but the trope of the living doll, a living mannequin, is not constrained to that mindset. Mannequin on the Move is rather more of a fairy tale with a prince saving a princess, a trope that clearly helped endear it to an entire nation. The story of A Mom for Christmas is focused on a familial love to imbue life into an inanimate object, and this could be a bigger clue as to why we are so fascinated by these tropes. Each variant of the trope creates a reflection of the society at the time of its conception, from the Greeks idolizing their artistic highs, to to the rampant focus of consumerism of 1980s America. These reflections reveal much about the societies, and the mentality of the times becomes displaced onto the story, just like we continue to try and displace ourselves onto these mannequins. Our desires are projected upon these mannequins, and that's why we will them into existence. But what happens when the doll comes to life against your will? This conceit is central to our next focus, a genre known for its inclusion in living mannequins: horror.
Who's crying? It's either our new vice president, the fairy, or the dummy.
If you made it this far, then I'd like to thank you for sitting through my strange little video about mannequins. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, then please subscribe, like, and all that nonsense. I don't expect these to be monetized, so I have a Patreon set up if you'd like to support future videos. Since this is just a hobby, I'll be using any of those funds to get better equipment and that kind of stuff. I will post regular updates to my projects and uncut versions of the essays, including any licensed music or scenes that I had to trim out thanks to copyrights. I'd like to personally thank the amazing Mo Chicken for creating these stunning avatars for me. He's a wonderful artist, and you should definitely check out his channel where he plays some amazing retro games, including one of my all-time favorites, Dark Cloud 2. All these items are linked in the bio along with my sources. If this was your first time watching, please check out my first video on A Mom for Christmas. It doesn't have the avatar, but has some insane and magical moments with Olivia Newton-John. I have a couple things in the works, so the next video might not be part 3 of my Mannequin series. Whatever happens, I hope I'll see you then.
學好有不需休息的吻。